Greetings and welcome to the new series of a mini-season of Kapow comic book show exclusive to sftv.com.au. I'm Sonya and this is Al.
You are correct on both counts, sir.
Indeed.
And we have two very different comics to look at today, don't we?
Indeedly doodly we do.
Doodly.
So let's jump straight in with The Colonized, Zombies versus Aliens.
It seems like everyone wants to fight aliens at the moment. You know, we've had cowboys versus aliens, we've had ninjas versus aliens, we've even had genies versus aliens in Gen Rise. But I will say this is probably the first title I've ever seen that puts humanity on the same team as the aliens.
Well, it is kind of hard to team up with a zombie. They're not really team players, they're rather team eaters.
Yeah, they never pass the ball.
No. Chris Ryle has put a few interesting ideas into this comic though, including basing it on a separatist collective called Carbon Falls.
Which is a neat way of isolating the main players and also of putting them at a technological disadvantage. When the essentially well-meaning aliens show up and accidentally zombify an entire cemetery with their tractor beam. Needless to say, hilarity ensues.
Yeah, there is an obvious comedic tone to this title. The humans are mainly backwards hillbillies and the aliens are fairly incompetent and they kind of look like a cross between monkeys and the Martians from Mars Attacks. I had a few chuckles reading through The Colonized and as it's only a 4-issue run, I'm giving it a borrow.
You know, I didn't get that sort of into the story overall, but I will say that Drew Moss's artwork had that playful element to it that did bring me along, especially with the aliens. They look great. So I'm going to give it a borrow as well.
Cool.
Now, moving along, we have G.I. Joe, The Cobra Files.
Yes, now with the G.I. Joe film just being recently released and surprisingly found to be not completely awful, we thought that we should have a look at some of the titles that have stemmed from the Joe universe.
Yes, now, this is not your average G.I. Joe story, though. Far away from the clean-cut, good guys with big guns kill bad guys sort of story. This is much more of a gritty spy thriller, crammed full of moral ambiguity.
Yeah, which is what actually got me quite enthusiastic about this title to begin with. Mike Costa has crammed this issue full of really interesting characters, particularly Chameleon, the main character in this title. She has recently defected from Cobra and is helping the Joes either convert or kill other Cobra agents, which leaves her in a fairly fragile psychological state.
Everyone in this title has their own thing going on, though, as with any good spy thriller. And the grimmer than normal feel is also really evident in the artwork by Antonio Fuso, especially in the faces, which actually look kind of messy until you get used to the style, and then it really adds to the story, I think.
It does, and I think a big shout out needs to go to Ariana Florian on colours. There's a uniform feel throughout the comic, but the different colour temperatures in the different scenes go a long way towards getting the emotions across. This comic was not what I was expecting at all, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm giving this a buy.
Yeah, look, I mean, don't get me wrong. When I was a kid, I had a few of the toys. I watched the cartoons. I had a few of the comics as well. So I like fan service as much as the next guy. But I've got to say, this one, it fleshed out the G.I. Joe world in a really effective way. So I really enjoyed it too. I'm giving it a buy.
Great, and with that, we have come to the end of another mini Kapow. Don't forget to head on over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kapow Comic Book Show, where this week we take a look at issue 0 of X, Nightmare and Tales of Fear.
Yes, and we also have an interview with two of the stars of All Superheroes Must Die.
Indeed.
So that's definitely worth a look.
Absolutely.
It's great to be back, guys. So until next week,
bye.